Bishop, good to see you again. Recently, the church had a Extraordinary Synod over in Rome, and it left a lot of people confused. And so now we look to you as the spiritual guide of the diocese to explain to us what actually happened at the Synod.
Well, it wasn't a discussion, really. It wasn't a place where they were going to finalize anything. It was really kind of an open discussion, a brainstorming about how we can support the family in the modern world. So there was so many issues because, again, we see families being redefined. We have people in different ways relating to the issue of family. So it really was, as I say, more open discussion, more just this is what I think, maybe this might work. So again, there's no finalization of anything. Was really a preparatory document for another synod that will happen next fall.
Yeah. Do you think people got confused by that mid-session paper that came out? Because that was really just documentation of all the things that were said.
Right.
And people were saying, hey, we're changing all our positions all of a sudden.
I think it was confusing because, again, it was just a summary of trends that were being talked about. And it looked like, again, this was where we were going. I think the final document kind of, could say, pulled back a bit, was a little bit more balanced about what was said, and and then there was a vote on that. So there might have been a few people that said one thing, and that got reported, but at the end there was the final vote on everything, so that it was a lot more, more balanced. It wasn't such a departure from the past.
So people think that just because these things are being talked about now out in the open, that this represents a pivotal point in the church's history.
Well, it is. I mean, it's a period of change. We are. The Second Vatican Council was the same thing, and the synods came out of the council that periodically there would be meetings that would keep the church abreast of what's happening and come up with new ways of approaching things. So it's normal. The council caused a lot of furor too, because people that understand that the church can change its approach. There are things that are not dogmatic that can be changed or changeable, would change the liturgy and etc. So this will always be a point of difficulty for a lot of people because nobody likes change. We are creatures of habit, and especially when we change something things we believe in, that's very difficult.
Yeah, a lot of talk centered around the church's approach to homosexuals, and in a sense, was the church just catching up with what the practice is already in many cases? I mean, we try to be open to the homosexual.
I think that's true. That there's nothing new there. I mean, we have had, even the American bishops almost 10, 15 years ago had a wonderful document giving an approach to people with homosexual attraction, how to, respecting them. Etc. So that there was there's always been this openness, this principle of gradualness, as that came out of one of the discussions. Gradualness is basically a moral principle that people use to help people change. You can't change overnight. It's very difficult for people to, if they have an addiction, for example, you don't go cold turkey. It usually takes time for people to turn their life around. And so it is with moral issues, this gradual approach, encouraging people, helping them, doing certain steps that help them change is a better approach than just saying, well, that's it, you got to change and it's up to you.
In the final talk, the Pope seemed to be telling the bishops to avoid extremism on either side. He's saying, we should avoid being so traditional that we get locked into things and things can never change. And then he says on the other side, we can't be just changing things for change's sake. What do you take out of that?
Well, it's pretty clear. Again, it's showing that the balance is necessary. That when we have to look, again, when things can be changed, you have to look and say, can we change it? Should we change it? Is it reasonable? Is it advisable? Maybe not today. Maybe it's tomorrow we change, etc. So these are all the issues that we see that are part of the life of the church. Discussing things it doesn't mean you're going to change things, but open discussion is a good means of even clarifying why we believe things. So sometimes you can strengthen your positions by discussing them instead of weakening them.
Yeah, certainly a different kind of pope. We're not used to hearing a pope talk in these terms sometimes, you know, warning people about being too traditional. Do you think...
well, he's more of a populist, I would say. All of his sermons, his talks, he departs from the text a bit, and he engages people. He gives very concrete examples. You know, it's very catchy. You know, it's a very good way to do things.
Good. Bishop, again,
Okay.
thanks for being with us again.
All right.